Hi guys, so I know it's been about a year since I've been on last, and that's because I've had a lot going on personally, and this page is going to be about mental health awareness. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that in the last year I've been dealing with grieving over my grandfather's death and a lot of other depression and stress. So, with that being said, and this being around the holiday times again, I'm going to be talking about depression and some good ways to manage it. Also, I am going to be posting on here some singing videos because I am trying to get my talent noticed. It's something I've always been passionate about. I'll talk more about that in other videos. But today I want to focus on the depression. So I have three main mental health diagnoses. I have PTSD and depression and anxiety, which pretty well just stems from the PTSD. My depression started about 4 years ago after a really bad breakup, and after that I was, starting to do okay, starting to get over the guy. I had been with him for about a year, so I mean, I was in love with this man. And then my grandma got really sick and passed away. And so then I started grieving her. And then a year later, my grandfather, who's always been like a father to me, passed away, which was last year. So that's what I was doing this past year, was grieving him, and that's why it's been really hard and I haven't really been on here, but I think it's important that you guys know, and I want to be open and honest with you guys. I want people to understand that even though it seems like what some people might call silly or simple things, that sometimes people's psyches just can't handle them like other people's can. That doesn't make us any less strong or any that doesn't make us weak. It's just our chemical balance. Depression is actually a lack of serotonin in the brain, and that's not something anybody can control. So, I mean, you can do things to try and make yourself happy, but you're going to need medication in the end result if it is a long-term thing. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to say everybody needs medication, but if it's a prolonged thing, you definitely want to talk to your doctor about medication. So, with that being said, depression around the holidays. The holidays used to be my favorite times growing up, especially Christmas. My grandma and grandpa would always let me open one gift on Christmas Eve. That was their tradition. And they would always take me to see Christmas lights, and they would always help me decorate the tree. I mean, they were a big part of my life. They lived right beside of us, my mom and I, so we saw them every day. I saw them every day. I visited them every day. When I lost my grandma, Thanksgiving that year was really horrible. My family has always fought and had a lot of problems, and we knew once my grandparents passed away that we wouldn't keep in contact and nobody would really care about anybody else, which is sad, but it's unfortunately it's true, and it's what happened. That's how things are now. So when my grandparents were both alive towards the end of their life, we still all fought, but we still got together for the holidays. Everyone got together at their house. Well, now that my grandma had passed in 2017, my grandpa ended up going, well, had made plans to go with my aunt out of town, even though she knew we had asked her to ask him if he would come up here and visit us. And I mean, of course, they were welcome too. That's the kind of people my aunt is. And that's the thing, is none of the family wanted to get together with each other anymore. So, of course, that made me really sad and depressed. And depression isn't just sadness, it's emptiness. It's not wanting to get out of bed. It's sleeping, 20 hours out of a 24-hour day, getting up just to go to the bathroom. I mean, my depression has been that severe before. If it wasn't for my dog, who is my service dog for my PTSD, as you can see, he's just real lazy. But he is there for me when I need him, and he really helps with my depression, because even on the days that I do have that where I don't want to get out of bed and I just want to sleep all day, he's the only reason I get out of bed. I make sure he has food and water, and I let him out. No matter how bad I'm feeling, I always put his needs above my own. And that's just because that's who I am. So Thanksgiving was hard, and then Christmas came around, and it was still pretty bad. I think it was actually worse than Thanksgiving. I not only just didn't have a good day, my family had this new tradition with my nieces, and when I say my family, I mean me, my mom, and my sister, or we stay the night at my sister's, and that way my nieces can open their presents first thing in the morning, and my mom and I are both there with them to celebrate with them. Since I'm an adult, I don't have any children, and she has nowhere to go. So that's the new tradition we have. It was so bad that I didn't even want to go. And I'm telling you, I love these kids as much as my own. I love them as much as my animals, who are my kids to me. I didn't want to go. I threw a fit. I didn't say that to the kids or my mom or anybody, but I wrestled with myself about it. I truly did not want to go. I didn't want to acknowledge Christmas. I never said Merry Christmas to anyone. I haven't done that in the last 2 years. And I just wanted to pretend that it didn't exist. I didn't care if the holiday was about me or not. It was what it represented and how it was growing up. And this past year wasn't much different. Now that my grandpa's gone, it's going to be extremely hard. I think the first year he was gone, he's been gone 1.5 years now. He passed away in 2018. The first year he was gone was kind of like the first year my grandmother was gone. Everything was just numb. And since it happened back to back, it was like 2 years of I didn't have any holidays. The only good days I had were if they were personal good days, but I didn't get really overly excited about anything. So this year I am feeling a little different. Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm still sad the family can't get together, but we're going to one of my distant cousins' houses, and I'm glad we're getting together. I'm excited for Christmas. I actually tried to start decorating today. Yes, I know it's November. I am one of those people. I used to be one of those people anyways, and I'm glad I feel that way again. I'm ready for Christmas. I'm ready to start with the holiday spirit again. I feel like it's been too long, and I think that's part of helping my depression. I have a lot of things that I've done differently this year. Besides, I'm still under a lot of stress, but I'm taking new medication that I've been on for the past year, which has made a phenomenal difference. There has been maybe 5 days the whole year that I've felt like I wanted to sleep all day, and that's the entire year. Now, I still go through spurts where I'm still kind of poor on hygiene and don't want to take care of myself, but I still get out of bed and do things. And I have kind of that version of the lazy depression where I just don't feel like I want to do anything, but it's not so bad to the point where I physically can't. I mean, I have had that, but it's not been that the last year. So, I also had surgery on my carpal tunnel, so I'm also able to do a lot more things with playing my piano, riding my horse, playing video games. All those have always been de-stressors to me, especially playing with my horses. Equine therapy is amazing, especially when they're your own horses, except when you're broke and you have to pay to take care of them. That would be the stressor part. That aside, it's an amazing thing. If you know anyone that has horses or a therapy place around, just see if you can go and just pet them and brush them. I'm sure no one would have a problem with it. People completely understand the equine therapy. They know how healing it can be, even just to pet them and spend time with them. It's like cuddling a dog. It releases happy endorphins. It's just an amazing thing. Now for me, I also ride my horse though too, so when I run, I feel like I'm flying, and it's the most amazing feeling in the world. So getting on new meds was a big help. Being able to play my video games and play my piano, which, like I said, I'm no professional by any means. I mostly do it just for myself, just as a stress reliever, like I said. Occasionally, I like to color in the adult coloring books, which, when you're depressed, unless you have carpal tunnel like I did, it's very helpful. I won't say that it helps everybody. There's some days it didn't help me, but it is very helpful. And just listening to music. Sometimes you just lay your head back and listen to certain songs, and it just feels like everything clicks. Journaling. I know every counselor will tell you that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When I'm really frustrated and I just don't know what to do about it, though, I write it down. I feel like at least saying it, in a sense, gets my frustrations out. Like this, I feel like talking to you guys is now a new form of therapy for me. And I'm excited for you guys to learn, and I really want you guys to ask questions about what I do with certain things, and if you need advice, I will try my best. But again, I am not a licensed therapist, but I have had to have counseling for several years. Right after I developed PTSD, I was raped, and that's how I developed PTSD, and I was in counseling for 2 whole years almost. Started at twice a week every week, and then I went to once a week every week, and now I just go when needed. And yes, it still affects me, and of course I still have depression, but it just goes to show how far I've come in just 2 years. It may not seem like a lot sometimes to some people, because I am still dependent on my dog and taking him a lot of places with me, because I'm afraid to have a panic attack or my anxiety gets really bad going into public places. And I know people don't understand that, especially even my own family. My sister doesn't understand why I have to take him when she thinks that I'm just playing, or I'm trying to play the victim, or I'm just trying to get people to feel bad for me. No, I don't. It's not that I I like taking him everywhere like everybody else, but it's actually more of a hassle to take him in the grocery store when I'm trying to put groceries in the cart. And I have to hold on the leash with one hand, cart with the other hand. I mean, it's not convenient. When I'm the only one in certain public places, when I go to the library, he's the only dog in the place. Yes, I get stares. So I get a little bit more anxious. So no, I'm not looking for sympathy. I don't want people to look at me. In fact, I usually don't like the spotlight on me. I know that's contradictory to what I said in the very beginning, that I do want a music career, but that's a completely different setting, I guess. And like I said, I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I don't like people to look at me just for weird or odd things anyways. Another thing I started doing that has really helped my depression is I've started talking a lot better to myself. Now you may think, what the heck is she talking about? She talks to herself. Or yeah, I talk to myself too, but I don't make a big deal out of it. I don't mean talk to myself like, where did I put that? Or, I can't believe I did that. No, I mean our inner dialogue. Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck am I trying to get to here? What I'm getting at is, even if you're like me and you're a really soft, kind-hearted person, you see someone crying. Do you tell them you need to stop crying, you look ridiculous? Of course not. Nobody does that. Even if they really think that. Okay, somebody might do that, but that is a really mean and rude person. Most of us don't do that. Most of us, we're concerned. Some of us may even go up to the person, especially if we know them, and say, hey, what's wrong? Do you need a shoulder to cry on? Someone to listen? Can I help? Now me, when I always cried in public, I hated it. And I'm going to tell you why. And I don't want any harsh, rude comments. I still have issues with my mom, and we're still working through it, but she has gotten a lot better and improved a lot over the years. When I cried, even when my dog died, my mom called me a crybaby. She would do that a lot. Or she would, make crying sounds and make fun of me. Like, she was just completely rude. So I just, subconsciously, I didn't say anything to myself, but I just didn't cry in front of people. So I never liked to cry in front of people. But I don't sit there and tell someone else it's not okay to cry. So why don't I allow myself to? And you may think, okay, yeah, that's what every counselor's going to tell me. And you're right. But the thing is, you have to actually start listening to what they're saying. How many times do you do that, and with how many different things? I'd put on a shirt. My mom would say, "You really gonna wear that?" Yeah, why? Well, makes you kind of look fat. Well, thanks, Ma. Well, wouldn't you rather I tell you? In a sense, yeah, I'd kind of rather my mom told me before I went out like that, but on another hand, unless I ask for your opinion, don't give it. So instead of thinking I look fat in that shirt, I just started thinking I look fat, period. All those little things my mom used to say to me piled up, and I'm not the kind of person really that, I'm not trying to blame my mom for all my problems. I'm really not. I'm just saying what she did, not even realizing what she was doing, and she wasn't trying to do this. She was just trying to be brutally honest. But all those little things she did when I was growing up, they stuck. So when I got older, that's how I thought. I thought, oh no, I don't want to wear this. I'll look fat. Oh, I don't want to cry in front of people. I can't do that because I'll look weak. I know it sounds silly. I don't think other people look weak. I never have. But that's what I thought about myself. And now that I do cry in front of people, my mom tells me that I used to be fine and now I just cry at the drop of a hat. And told her, and this was actually just a month ago, and I told her, no, Mom, I used to cry to myself all the time. Nobody just ever knew. And that's not fair. That's not fair to me. That's not fair to you guys, not to let yourselves express yourselves. I'm not saying you have to cry in front of people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. I'm just saying don't beat yourself up for feeling emotions. We all feel them. Let yourself do what you need to do. Now, if it's anger, obviously within reason, but especially with sadness, if you feel like screaming, scream. Everybody will understand, and that's the thing. Everybody does. We just don't feel like they will. And it's still taken me quite a while to get to that point, but the more you consciously correct yourself for thinking that way and talking to yourself that way, the more you will naturally do it. It becomes habit. When you consciously do something for so long, it becomes habit. But that kind of way of thinking is distorted thinking. So, guys, do a little bit of homework, look it up, and see what all is involved in it. Because I had to do it. My counselor gave me homework. And on my distorted thinking sheet, I'm like, yep, I do that, I do that, I do that. Sitting here checking off the list, and it was quite a shock to me how many of them I did. But yeah, it's definitely something you want to look into, and just try to talk to yourself better. And I know that's it's not been specifically about the holidays, but if you do these things, it'll make the holidays better in general. You can't just make yourself excited about the holidays by just going and doing things and trying to get into the spirit. I tried that last year. It didn't work. What I did was worked on myself. If you work on yourself and make yourself a happier person, that'll go 10 times farther than just trying to force yourself to be into something. I'm going to try to post at least once a week now, and like I said, leave a comment below. Please like, share. Any questions about mental health or anything more you guys want me to elaborate on, please put it below. I really want people to start understanding mental health and knowing that it's not just a taboo thing anymore. We don't belong in asylums, and even if we have a mental breakdown, it's okay. We'll bounce back. We're not going to kill everybody. Sometimes we might feel like it, but that doesn't mean we're going to. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I will see you guys next week for Thanksgiving.